It started small, the kind of shift you almost talk yourself out of noticing. Lauren became busier, or at least that's what she said. Meetings, vendors, tastings, fittings. Her calendar was suddenly full. Whenever I asked how things were going, she snapped. "You don't need to control every detail," she said, eyes sharp, voice cold. I wasn't controlling. I just wanted to be part of the life we were building. She began spending weekends with her best friend, Maddie. Always wedding errands, always vague. I trusted her. I wanted to. But trust feels different when someone's energy changes. Her phone became a shield, always in her hand, screen turned away. The laughter she used to share with me now lived somewhere else. At night, she'd say she was exhausted, roll over and face the wall. I tried not to read into it. But the silence between us got louder. It wasn't about arguments. It was the absence of warmth. You learn the rhythm of someone you love, when they breathe deeper, when they smile smaller. And when that rhythm changes, your body knows before your mind admits it. One Saturday, she said she'd be out late with Maddie, finalizing seating charts. I kissed her goodbye and told her to drive safe. By 10:30, I sent a message asking if she wanted food when she got home. No reply. By 11, I called, straight to voicemail. Something inside me, that quiet gut instinct people ignore, started screaming. I didn't want to be paranoid, but I needed to know. So I called Maddie. She answered, sleepy, confused. "What are you talking about?" she said. "I'm in Arizona visiting my parents." I sat there, phone in my hand, heartbeat in my throat. For a moment, I couldn't move. It wasn't anger, it was realization. The kind that lands heavy and quiet, like the world just shifted. I opened our shared calendar. Lauren had never turned off location sharing. Her pin glowed on a small park 20 minutes away. No houses nearby, no reason to be there that late. I stared at the map for a long time before grabbing my keys. The drive felt endless and too fast at the same time. When I pulled up, her car was there. Silver Honda, parked under a tree. Another car beside it. I parked farther back, stepped out and walked quietly through the dark. And there she was, sitting on a bench, her hand resting on another man's leg, his thumb tracing slow circles on her skin. They weren't kissing. They didn't need to. The way she smiled told me everything. It was the smile she used to give me when she thought no one was watching. I stood behind a tree, barely breathing. I took one photo, steady hands, clear shot. Then I left. Drove home without thinking, headlights slicing through the dark. I didn't cry. Didn't curse. Just sat in the driveway, staring at nothing. The kind of nothing that means everything. That night, I didn't confront her. I let her crawl into bed, beside me like nothing had changed. Because sometimes silence says more than words ever could. The next morning felt like any other, but nothing was the same anymore. Lauren made coffee, humming like she always did. I watched her, studying every move, every glance. She kissed my cheek before leaving for brunch with Maddie. The same excuse, the same calm lie. I smiled, told her to have fun, then sat down and started planning. If she could lie so easily, then I needed to see the truth clearly. I wasn't going to shout or beg. I wanted proof. I texted Maddie later that day. Nothing confrontational, just casual. "Hey, was Lauren with you last weekend?" She replied fast. Last weekend, I was still in Arizona. That was it. A single sentence that confirmed everything. A few minutes later, Maddie called me. Her tone was sharp, confused, then angry. She used me as an excuse. "Are you serious?" I told her what I'd seen. She cursed under her breath. Then her voice softened. "You want help?" she asked. I hesitated, then said yes. Maddie offered to invite Lauren to brunch, record the conversation, keep her talking. I didn't ask her to. She volunteered. Maybe out of loyalty, maybe because she was tired of the lies. While waiting for the weekend, I prepared. I gathered receipts, copied files from our shared tablet, backed up messages. Every night, I worked quietly, like clocking into a second job. The betrayal didn't make me emotional. It made me focused. I wasn't going to explode. I was going to dismantle. Friday night, Maddie texted me. Brunch confirmed, tomorrow at 10. I barely slept. The next afternoon, she called after the meeting. She didn't even hesitate, Maddie said. She admitted everything. I recorded it. We met later that night in a parking lot. She handed me her phone, opened the voice memo. Lauren's voice filled the air. She's been distant because Derek's back in town, Maddie prompted. Lauren sighed. Yeah, I just needed closure. Ethan wouldn't understand. Maddie asked if she'd told me. No, Lauren said. He overreact. It's not like I slept with Derek. Her laugh echoed through the speakers. He's so logical. Sometimes it feels like I'm marrying a calculator. I paused the recording. The world went silent around me. It wasn't that she cheated. It was that she didn't even feel guilty. I handed the phone back, thanked Maddie, and sat there for a long time. That night, I made a list. Venue, jewelry, bank accounts. Everything under my name. I called my lawyer the next morning. We had a clause in the prenup about emotional infidelity. Now it wasn't just emotion. It was evidence. Lauren thought she was in control. But she didn't realize she'd already lost. From that point on, I stopped reacting. I smiled when she talked. I kissed her goodnight. And every day, I moved one step closer to walking away. Saturday morning came calm and bright, the kind of morning that hides chaos beneath sunlight. Lauren made pancakes, humming to herself, smiling like she had nothing to hide. I watched her move around the kitchen, graceful, familiar, foreign all at once. Every lie looked effortless on her lips now. She had no idea I'd already heard her confession. I'd already seen the picture she tried to paint of me, cold, logical, unfeeling. Maybe that's why I stopped feeling entirely. Love had turned into calculation. Every word, every look, every silence became data. And I started treating the relationship like a system I was shutting down. While she chatted about wedding flowers, I checked bank balances. While she planned table settings, I emailed my lawyer. By afternoon, I had everything sorted. Venue contracts, catering deposits, ring receipts. Every payment had my name on it. She had contributed nothing but opinions. That night, she told me she'd be out late with Maddie again. I nodded, pretending not to know what that meant. She left in a rush, perfume still hanging in the air after the door closed. I didn't follow her this time. I didn't need to. Instead, I sat at my desk, scanning documents, creating digital folders labeled with dates. Proof doesn't lie, people do. Each file, each screenshot, each voice memo was a piece of freedom. Around midnight, she came home. Her voice was soft, careful, testing. Did you wait up for me? I smiled, kept my eyes on the TV. Just catching a game. She relaxed, thinking I was still blind. The next day, I began separating finances. She had access to one shared credit card. By noon, that access was gone. I opened a new account under a different bank. Moved half my savings there quietly. No drama, no trace. When she texted me photos of flower arrangements, I replied with hearts. The calmest man in the world, that's what she saw. But behind the calm was precision. I drove to the jeweler and returned her ring. The clerk looked surprised, but didn't ask questions. Then I went to the wedding venue, told them to freeze all reservations. Just a temporary pause, I said. They nodded, maybe they knew. Driving home, I realized I wasn't angry anymore. Anger requires hope, and I had none left. All that remained was clarity. Lauren greeted me at the door that night, kissed my cheek, asked what I wanted for dinner. I told her anything was fine. Her laughter filled the kitchen again, but I barely heard it. I was already gone in every way that mattered. By then, I wasn't waiting for her to come clean. I was waiting for the right moment to end the story. The difference between weakness and control is timing. And I was finally in control. The night before the wedding was quiet, too quiet to be normal. Lauren moved around the apartment, humming, packing her overnight bag. She looked happy, carefree, like nothing was about to collapse. I sat at the kitchen counter, coffee cold, watching her every motion. Her joy felt rehearsed, a performance for the last scene. By evening, she came to me with a smile and said, "Let's have dinner, just us." She made spaghetti, her favorite, and lit a candle like it was romantic. I helped set the table, calm and steady. When she sat down, I said softly, "We need to talk." Her smile faltered, just a flicker, then came back forced and bright. "What's wrong?" she asked. I didn't answer. I opened my laptop and turned the screen toward her. Her location data appeared first, 3 weekends in a row at the same park. She stared silent. Then I opened the photo. Her hand on Derek's leg. The moment her world cracked. I watched her face drain of color. Next, I pressed play on the recording. Her own voice filled the room. "He's so logical. Sometimes it feels like I'm marrying a calculator." I stopped the audio there. For a long moment, she said nothing. Then, "You were spying on me." "No," I said. "You just never stopped leaving traces." She blinked, searching for words that wouldn't save her. "It's not what it looks like. We didn't sleep together." I leaned back in my chair. "You lied. You planned to keep lying." She stood up, trembling, voice cracking. "You can't do this, Ethan. It's the night before our wedding." "That's exactly why I'm doing it tonight." I reached into a folder, slid papers across the table. Refunds, cancellations, transfers. I already called off everything. Her jaw fell open. "You canceled the wedding." "Yes, and I've revoked your access to my accounts. It's all done." She started crying, desperate and angry. "You're being cruel. I just needed closure." I looked at her calm. "Closure doesn't involve secret meetings in the dark." She tried to argue, twisting words, shifting blame. "You never showed emotion. You pushed me away." I nodded slowly. "Maybe, but I never lied." Her tears turned to rage. "You'll regret this." "No," I said, standing. "I'll recover from this." I walked toward the door, keys in hand. Behind me, she shouted my name, voice breaking. I didn't turn around. At the door, I stopped once. "Pack your things, be out by Sunday." Then I left, closing the chapter without slamming it. The night air felt clean, sharp, real. For the first time in months, I could breathe. The silence in the car wasn't empty anymore. It was freedom. The morning after I left, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Missed calls, messages, notifications stacked like static. Lauren's mother, her sister, friends I barely knew. All asking vague questions, all dancing around the truth. She hadn't told them what happened. She painted herself the victim, said I'd had a breakdown. Said the wedding was postponed, while I sorted my emotions. I didn't reply, not to anyone. There's power in silence when you've already said enough. By noon, she began deleting our photos from social media. Hours later, she posted a new picture, sad face, vague caption. Something about healing and strength. I almost laughed. It was predictable. I didn't comment. I didn't need to defend myself. She was performing for sympathy, and I was done being her audience. Over the next days, I boxed up everything she'd left behind. Clothes, makeup, old birthday cards. I labeled each box neatly and stacked them in the garage. No anger, no revenge, just order. When she didn't come for them, I sent a short email. Professional, detached. If her things weren't picked up by Friday, I'd send them to storage. She replied 2 days later. guilt wrapped in self-pity. You're giving up on us over one mistake. That word, mistake, almost made me laugh again. She didn't trip and fall into deceit. She built it carefully, day by day, choice by choice. I didn't respond. Maddie told me Lauren was spinning new stories among their friends. Now I was emotionally distant, cold, hard to love. Apparently, her meetings with Derek were just closure therapy. People like her rewrite history until they become the hero. But the people who mattered already knew the truth. My lawyer finalized the prenup enforcement. Everything under my name stayed mine. The venue, the honeymoon, the deposits, all refunded or frozen. The financial cleanup was easier than the emotional one. But even that came quietly. Each signature felt like erasing her fingerprints from my life. A week later, her boxes were gone. She didn't say goodbye, just sent one last text. I hope you find peace someday. I didn't answer, I already had. That night, I sat alone in the apartment for the first time. No perfume in the air, no fake laughter echoing from the kitchen. It was quiet, but it wasn't loneliness. It was clarity. I opened a bottle of bourbon I'd been saving for the honeymoon. Poured one glass. Not to mourn her, to celebrate survival. The woman I loved existed only in memory. The one who betrayed me had been a stranger all along. And I was done grieving for strangers. Months passed, and life began to feel real again. Work picked up, my focus returned, and sleep no longer felt like an escape. The weight she left behind slowly turned into clarity. For the first time in years, I could breathe without wondering. Maddie checked in sometimes, simple messages, never intrusive. She'd been the one who stood by truth when it cost her friendship. We met for coffee one afternoon, just to talk. No tension, no heavy air, just quiet understanding. What started as shared exhaustion turned into comfort. She was nothing like Lauren. No games, no puzzles to solve, no layers to decode. When she was upset, she said it. When she cared, she showed it. I didn't realize how much I'd missed honesty until it felt normal again. Weeks turned into months. We started seeing each other more often, late walks, casual dinners. No labels, no rush. Then one morning, I caught myself thinking about her smile and not about the past. That's when I knew I was free. When word got out that we were together, the silence ended. Lauren found out. Her first message came on a Wednesday night. A wall of text, anger, heartbreak, accusation. How could you? How could you do this with my best friend? I didn't reply. 3 days later, she showed up at a restaurant where Maddie and I were eating. Her eyes were wild, red, filled with the same chaos I'd escaped. She started yelling, drawing every gaze in the room. Accused us of betrayal, of cruelty, of ruining her life. Maddie stayed still, arms crossed, calm as stone. I said nothing. Let her words collapse under their own noise. Tears mixed with fury, her voice cracked. You were supposed to forgive me. We had 5 years. People recorded, phones up, faces shocked. The owner asked her to leave. She refused until 2 waiters gently pulled her away. Even then, she screamed from the sidewalk, threats and curses. Said she'd destroy us, go to our jobs, make everyone believe her story. We left quietly, the way peace always does after a storm. The next morning, I filed a cease and desist. Maddie sent in the videos, messages, timestamps. Not revenge, just boundaries. A line she could no longer cross. When the notice reached her, she sent one final email. Spineless, coward, you both deserve each other. That was the last time I heard from her. And for once, I didn't feel the need to reply. She had her version of closure. I had mine, silence, peace, and a woman who never needed to lie. Lauren used to think my quiet meant weakness. But silence was the moment I started rebuilding. And this time, the life I was building finally felt like mine. Some nights, I still think about how quiet it was when I walked away. No yelling, no tears, just the sound of a door closing softly. That silence became the start of everything that followed. Peace doesn't arrive loud. It comes like breathing after drowning. I learned that love without honesty is only performance. That loyalty means nothing without truth to anchor it. I stopped looking for closure in people who cause the damage. Sometimes the cleanest ending is the one with no explanation. Maddie and I never rushed what came next. We built something slow, steady, real. No pretense, no masks, no ghosts from the past between us. And for the first time in years, I felt simple happiness. Not the kind that burns fast, but the kind that stays quiet. Lauren became a name that didn't sting anymore. Just a reminder of who I'll never be again. I don't hate her. I just don't carry her anymore. When I look back, I see not betrayal but rebirth. Because sometimes losing everything is the only way to find yourself.